Am I the a-hole for telling my brother that it's his fault that our mum is sick? I'm a 16-year-old male. I have an older brother who's 20 years old. 2 years ago, before going to college, he came out to our parents as gay, which made our dad disown him and cut all contact with him. He tried to force our mum to cut contact with him as well, but she refused, which led to a huge argument between them. After a couple of months of almost daily fights, our parents eventually decided to divorce. Soon after, my mum started feeling sick, and she was eventually diagnosed with breast cancer stage 3. Dad was only paying for my alimony and refused to pay for my mum's treatment as well, and my brother obviously couldn't pay either because of his college taxes. My mum's disease progressed, and now the doctors estimate that she only has max 1.5 years left to live. My mum accepted her fate, but I honestly started to resent my brother for this, as I don't see what was the point of him coming out right before going to college in another city. It's not like our dad wouldn't have been able to keep track of who's dating once he moved there, and his coming out only caused problems in the long run. My brother told me on the phone that he feels so bad about our mum's situation, and he blames himself for not being able to help her, which made me tell him that he should blame himself for coming out to our homophobic dad, which destroyed our parents' marriage and probably even got our mum sick of cancer due to all the stress caused by the divorce. My brother told me that he was still hoping that our dad would come around and that he wouldn't have done it if he knew it was going to cause our parents' divorce, but I told him that the harm's already done, and it's his fault that our mum's sick now. He started crying and told me that I'm a cunty for thinking that his sexual orientation is what caused our mum's cancer, and then hung up on me. But honestly, if he hadn't come out, our parents wouldn't have divorced, and even if mum would have still gotten cancer in this case, at least dad would have been there to pay for her treatment, and thus he might have still been able to save her. So I really think my brother should have postponed his coming out for a couple more years at the very least. Am I the a-hole? Gosh, is he the a-hole? I don't think... Yeah, everyone knows that the gays have the power to zap cancer into you. That's why they're a problem. Because they shoot cancer rays. They're the sun. That's why they're always just shining and bright.
His logic is just so whack.
It's amazing.
Like, stage 3 is very intense,
Mm-hmm.
like at the end where it can't really get much further. And he's like, you caused this because you suddenly came out.
Like, stage 3 would define the fact that she's had it prior.
For a long
yeah.
time. Or it was very aggressive.
Interesting logic there. You can tell it's totally just their trauma response to the fact of destruction of
trying to blame
family
someone
dynamic.
for everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Which is sad because it's understandable, but also like, you're an idiot.
Yeah. It's like I don't want to be too harsh on them because, yeah, like, okay, I see where you're resorting to. But I do love how they kind of gloss over the fact that their dads just refused to help out with alimony or like with the whole situation. Like, I mean, when they mature, they are going to realize just how much of an a-hole their dad is in this situation. Like, okay, you divorced?
Disowns the brother, divorces the mum, and then won't even help out in any way.
Your mum divorced for a very valid reason, and terrible. Top comment: my brother's gay, gave my mum cancer. Are you freaking serious? You're not just an a-hole, you're the a-hole. Yes, you have become the king of this sub. Well done, you are the truest anus. Yeah. Some of these comments have made a good point where they're saying that, like, I would not be surprised if a lot of what this guy is saying has been words that have more so come out of the father's mouth that he's just regurgitated. Anyway, yeah, look, everyone's saying it's just cut and dry, absolutely an a-hole. There's no way you could defend this person. Next one's pretty popular on the sub. Am I the a-hole for embarrassing my fiance and taking my heels off at our engagement party?
Oh, this is what happens when you want to marry a tall man. This is why we like short kings.
Ooh. My fiance, 31 male, and I, who's 26 female, got engaged several days ago. This is relevant. He's tall, and I'm in the 5-foot category.
It's part of a character.
It's part of a character. Which is pretty small compared to him and his family. He asked that I wear high heels at our engagement party since there was going to be photos. Oh, what a twist of fate. A man wanting you in heels more because of his frame.
And there's photos at an engagement party?
Although I wasn't comfortable, not a fan either, with high heels, I decided to wear them just for his sake since he begged and pleaded. Okay, I think it should be a rule of thumb. If you ask your partner to be wearing something that's going to be physically uncomfortable for them, you've got to offer something in return that helps compensate for that pain. Like you will give them a foot massage for 2 hours straight once the night's over. Something like that, like compensate. And also, since he promised I would be sitting most of the time. But at the party, he had me stand for hours to welcome the guests. There were like 20 guests with him. I got so tired of standing and my feet and legs were on fire. I asked if I could sit, but his mum said that I'm the fiancé and should stand next to my partner, not just sit like the party had nothing to do with me.
What a great lady. I bet you can't wait for that to be your mother-in-law.
How dare you try to make yourself comfortable in one of your special days?
You're
it's not
in
about
pain.
you, it's about you! I told my fiancé again that I was in so much pain, but he said, suck it up, it's almost over.
What a great guy. He's going to be a great dad.
Yeah. I had enough of it. I took my heels off and let my feet and legs cool off. He and his mum looked at me in utter confusion. Several of his family and guests saw me barefoot as well. He freaked out, asking what I was doing.
Maybe he wanted her to wear shoes because his whole family has a foot fetish.
Oh no.
And they all saw her naked bare feet.
Quick, blind Uncle Jerry! He freaked out, asking what I was doing. His mum asked that I put my heels on, but I said my feet were done and I couldn't do it anymore. My fiancé begged me, but I stood there till it was over like he wanted. The minute I got in the car, he flipped out, saying I embarrassed him in front of his family and friends by standing there barefoot and refusing to put my heels back on even after his mum repeatedly asked, how dare you don't listen to me as the man in this relationship? How can you expect to marry me, a man who respects you, if you won't do whatever I say?
Also, if this is the first time it's happened, just imagine how many more times it's going to happen. Oh, babe, I just have an important business dinner. Can you just wear heels? Oh, it's our wedding. You need to wear heels. Oh, we're doing this. You need to wear heels. I need you to be taller than you are right now. I know I dated you for so long and I've accepted your height, but I need to alter that for my own ego and satisfaction.
This is, he's going to be the future Reddit story of the man who got divorced over a PS5. I reminded him that he said I wouldn't be standing, but turns out it wasn't true. He argued that for someone with a height like mine, then I should wear high heels more often, and said I should have sucked it up for his sake. He went upstairs and turned his phone off and refused to speak to me.
What a great fiance.
Yeah, great. He solved the situation for you. He went away and made himself unreachable. I had no intentions of embarrassing him, but I do feel I should have sucked it up. But I think that he wasn't truthful about how long I was expected to stand. Am I the a-hole? Now, edit to add, he doesn't usually care if I wear high heels, and said I should start considering wearing them from now on, out, because most women wear heels at big occasions like weddings and engagement parties. Okay, it's not that he doesn't usually care, it's that now he's realizing, oh, we're getting married now. I need to really hammer down my expectations of you as my future potential wife. He's wanted you to do this for a long time, clearly.
So many women wear flats at their wedding because they stand for so long. That's why you wear a floor-length dress and no one can see what's going on underneath.
Yeah. Top comment, obviously bringing up the issue of dumping his ass. Not the a-hole. Please don't marry this man. That is some serious controlling behavior. Nah, it's just little gentle suggestions that he's pushing upon you without your respectful consideration. As a short Asian girl, I found that the best way to make myself taller is to get rid of everyone who ever made me feel small. And this is coming from someone who does enjoy wearing heels. Oh, interesting. So the OP does respond to that, saying that they're Asian too, and yes. OP, my dad was abusive towards every woman he dated. Mostly controlling and verbal abuse, etc. But he was never that way until he was sure she was there for the long run. He was the sweetest until they were engaged or pregnant. Then he made comments like your fiancé. At first, it was you are embarrassing me, and it escalated. Your fiancé may not be like my dad, but his behavior was very much in the same spirit in my mind. Just be careful and make sure you are protecting yourself. Again, exactly, this is him trying to hammer down his expectations of her as a wife, and you better stand by them, otherwise there will be consequences. I will complain to Mummy, and she will come after you.
What is that accent?
I don't know. I felt like sounding like some sort of like German Nazi officer, but also slightly racist attempt at a white guy doing an Asian accent. I don't know. Enjoying another stupid a-hole? Am I the a-hole for making my daughter choose between her family and a trip to Spain?
Equal playing field.
Yeah, I wonder which one she'd be eyeing for if she's having to choose. I'm a 37-year-old male. My daughter, who's 16-year-old female, who I'll call Honey, has been taking a Spanish class for the past 2 years. Interesting name to use. This class takes a trip to Spain every few years, and Honey has been working hard in class and at work so she can go on this trip. Honey started to work for the trip at 14 by saving up any holiday money she got. She then got a full-time job and a part-time job at 15. So let's just consider that. She's been working her butt off for 2 years, on teenage wage no less. Honey has been super excited about the trip, but by the time the trip came around, I told her she couldn't go, because it was announced that her sister's 8-year-old female mother, my ex-wife, and Honey's ex-step-mum had cancer. So not even her own mother, but like... Wow.
What does this have to do with me?
Honey asked what this had to do with her, and so I told her she needed to be here for her sister and for my ex-wife. Look,
I'm
mate,
sorry, is she your ex-wife's emotional support animal?
it's great that you have a healthy enough family dynamic that you can still be in this sort of contact and closeness with your ex-partner, but come on, mate.
Well, it's the mother of his other daughter.
Yeah, but like the fact that his other daughter needs to stick around for it all, I don't know.
How long? She's not going to Spain forever, right? Isn't it just
No.
a trip?
Yes.
Yeah, so what does it matter? She'll come back.
Honey got mad pretty quick, bringing up how my ex-wife used to abuse her and how it was unfair to keep her from a trip she's been working hard for. I told Honey that she still had to be there since this involves her sister and my ex-wife's family, who still considers her family. I know
Rum.
they abused you and made you feel horrible and you have a bad, unhealthy relationship with them, but, well, DNA and sperm.
Oh, I love this last paragraph. The last sentence, really.
Okay. We ended up fighting, so Honey went to her mum's and refuses to talk to me, but calls every day to check in on her sister. Thinking about it now, Honey could have gone on the trip and just have called her sister from Spain! Oh!
Oh my goodness, is that how phones work? You mean I can connect to anyone in the world at any point in time via Messenger? Or any other app?
But I still think it's best she's here in person. Am I the a-hole? You literally confessed to everyone here online that you realized there was a way for this to still work for you. And you still think you need to know from people on the internet if you're actually the right person here? Wow. Just wow. Man. Yeah, Top Comment kind of just says what we're all thinking. Yeah, she worked incredibly hard to be on the trip. It's something that's completely out of her control with this whole cancer issue. You're the adult in this relationship. You should be taking care of the daughter more than your daughter should be taking care of the sister. Stop burdening your child with adult responsibility.
He's definitely forcing her to raise her sister.
Yeah. Why does she have to be there for an ex-stepmom? So
And it's not even there for her. He wanted her there for her sister.
Mm.
You have to be there for her emotionally. She needs your support.
Because I won't be there, but you need to be there. That's your responsibility. Because you're a teenager, therefore you are practically an adult. So therefore, you have to have all these responsibilities as an adult. But I won't respect you as an adult because you don't have your own individual privacy and freedoms. No, you're not an adult, okay? But you need to be as responsible as one, okay? Next story. Am I the a-hole for wanting my unemployed girlfriend to do more chores? This has nothing to do with money. We split the rent and we share everything 50-50. I am an engineer and my girlfriend works in healthcare. 1 month ago, her contract had ended and she has been unemployed since. She has already found another job, but she would be able to start 2 months after her previous job ended. That means in a month from now. So, for the past month, she has been living her best life. She's spending her mornings studying for her new job, but also reading, watching Netflix, going to the gym, and for runs with her dog, etc.
Wow, she sounds so happy. What a great time to crush that.
However, she hasn't started contributing more to the household. I mean, she still cooks and cleans every day, but she still expects me to wash the dishes, and she won't pick up my clothes after I have returned from work. Oh man, I was really hoping to be on your side for this because it sounded like it was an understandable equal work in the household, but yeah, oh man.
The next sentence.
Oh, what? Okay. The other day, I left a bunch of my mail on the table, and when I returned, it was left unopened.
The shock! How dare she?
You didn't pry into my privacy! What
What
the
if there
hell?
was a thank you note in there that needed to have another thank you note sent?
I asked her why she didn't look through it, and she told me she's not my secretary. I have been hinting that she should be picking up more chores now that she's unemployed, but she says that she's not my housekeeper. She does more than half of the chores, and since my workload has not increased, I should be able to do mine.
And she's not unemployed, she's just between contracts, isn't she? So
Yes.
she's probably taking this as well-deserved time off considering she's a nurse.
And she's studying for her next job.
Yeah,
so
and she's
technically
studying,
still
literally
doing
studying
her work.
every day. And she's already doing over half the chores. She
Yeah.
cooks and cleans for you and wants you to wash the dishes and pick up your own clothes.
I mean, yes,
The
I am able to
audacity.
do it. Oh, he is able to do his own work.
Is
But
he,
I
though?
am tired from work, and she isn't. So I had expected her to step up a little, but no. She claims this is her break from working hard and other hurtful things. Like
Other
she-
hurtful things? I'm worked
Like-
so hard, I need a break. Oh, that just hurts me too much to hear that. I'm sorry. You cannot have a break. If I'm working, you're working.
Like, she didn't go to med school to be in a live-in maid, etc. So, am I the a-hole for expecting her to do most of the chores while she's unemployed?
She's not unemployed. She's got a job. She's just in between contracts.
And you read the stories at first, like you read the titles and think, okay, this sounds like it makes sense. You know, if you're not working, if you're just staying at home while they're being the breadwinner sort of thing, pull your weight. But if he clearly still can do his own work still, the dishes and stuff. She's not obligated to do those things for him.
Also, it looks like she's still contributing to rent.
Yeah.
So I know it's not a money thing, but if she's still contributing to that equally and she's still doing more than half the share of the chores, then what are you expecting?
Yeah.
If she wasn't, then yeah, I guess you could have a conversation where you talk about her doing a little bit more, seeing as that's how she would contribute to the household. But she's still contributing. She's still doing over 50% of the chores. And that's still not good enough for you while she's having a well-deserved break, not unemployed, but in between a contract. Like she has one coming and she is studying for that every day.
Top comment, big one, here we go. You're the a-hole. And not being fully transparent with the sub, you subtly slipped it in that she went to med school. So I'm going to assume that what's going on is that she just finished her residency and has 2 months before she starts her first job as an attending, aka a doctor not under the supervision of other doctors. So it's actually a big deal that she's having this time off. For frick's sake, dude, she has undoubtedly been working way harder than you. Generally, in the US, residents work 70 to 90 hours per week. And you even mentioned that she's studying up during this period to prepare for her new position. Because, spoiler alert, doctors pretty much always have to study constantly throughout their careers. Jesus Christ, you're lucky she didn't dump you for even implying she should be your personal maid. She's enjoying a well-deserved break while still contributing to the household. You just sounds bitter and terrible. Yeah, I really have to wonder. This is one of the things where, like, you need to actually clarify the work hours you both do and the demands of your jobs. Because I guarantee with her in this healthcare area, she's going to be... This is the only free time she's going to get to enjoy for the next year.
Plus post-COVID.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, what a great time to get into healthcare. Woohoo! Dude, why? Why'd you have to disappoint like that? Why'd you have to try and manipulate us into pitying you? You suck. Okay, last story. This one. Everyone sucks, apparently. Am I the a-hole for humiliating my husband in front of his co-workers when he implied that I wasn't as beautiful as the boss's wife?
Oh.
Oh, great times coming ahead. My husband recently got a new job at a private practice working for a cosmetic surgeon. He works on the business and financial end of the practice. The boss's wife is genuinely one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen.
Probably cosmetically.
Yeah.
Like she's the wife of a cosmetic surgeon.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's beautiful, but I'm sure he's been in there with a knife or two.
Oh, yes. I do struggle with my self-esteem, so I will admit there were times I didn't want to be around her. I know that is my issue, and she has never been unkind to me. So it is something I was willing to work through because my husband is very ambitious, and networking is important to him.
That's why you need to wear heels whenever we're in public.
I've noticed the men he works with talk a lot about the boss's beautiful wife when the boss isn't around. I think it is kind of gross because 1, she isn't a piece of meat, and 2, she isn't even a trophy wife. She is a doctor as well. Is she currently going through a 1-2 month break before she starts?
Oh.
The cinematic universe of Reddit stories. Recently, we got invited to her 40th birthday, and 2 of his co-workers were at our house and making a big deal about they didn't know that she was 40. She doesn't look 40. This was right in front of their wives, one of whom was pregnant. At this point, I just feel bad for the woman because all the wives hate her and talk so much schmidt when she hasn't even done anything, just because these men are gross. That's a valid point. Yeah.
Yeah,
Unfair
fix
of
your
those women.
husbands.
Yeah. Fix yourselves first. If you're resorting to snobbing on this woman and who she is as a person just because your husbands are toxically lacking any self-control or respect, like, no, what are you doing? Have a spine. Smack your husbands in the face. Not literally, that's technically just physical abuse, but you get my point. Someone asked my husband if he knew she was 40. My husband said, yeah, because she graduated med school and has been practicing for like 10 years. I'm not surprised, but Kim Kardashian is also 40, so it is doable. But she is married to a plastic surgeon. Of course she is going to be the most beautiful woman in the world. I was in shock that he called her the most beautiful woman in the world. Of course, I don't actually think I am, but isn't he supposed to think that? I clapped back that she really is gorgeous, and who knows what I would look like if he gave me half the lifestyle her husband gives her. My husband immediately got quiet and tried to laugh it off, but I knew I hurt him. He is very driven by money, and though he makes good money, he compares himself to men who make more, and his boss is loaded. When they left, he asked me how I could humiliate him like that, and said I let my insecurities get the best of me. I can see how this isn't everyone sucks here.
Yeah,
Like,
I get that too.
Damn, you literally let your insecurities get the best of you just to bring your husband down to your peg of just low self-worth. You clearly knew that this would have stung him. It wasn't some way to be like, hey, I don't appreciate you speaking about her like that. Even that, he was merely relating description of her as how these men were relating to her. The first thing he talked about was her being a doctor and such. Isn't that what you want from your partner, to be acknowledging that over the beauty aspect? No, very, very, very petty. Everyone sucks here. You all sound superficial as frick. The poor woman does nothing but exist, and yet you all use her as a bludgeoning object in your schmitty, unhappy marriages. The internalized misogyny of OP and literally everyone else in this story. The doctor is always just the hot wife. My marriage has problems. Am I the a-hole for blaming it on another woman?
She's not even a trophy wife.
Like, it would be okay for them to objectify her like a purchasable commodity if she hadn't bothered getting an MD. What the frick, OP? That's a good point. Like, she only seems to dislike the people calling her a trophy wife and stuff because she's a doctor. Like,
she's a smart woman.
Yeah.
How dare you be smart and beautiful? You can't be both.
But like, even then, like, if she wasn't smart, if she was just beautiful, what, that makes it okay then to not demand respect of her? Like, because she's a doctor, she has to have the respect? What if she can have a respect because she's just another human being? Oh, yeah. She'd know this too. The wife would be aware of this. Imagine being completely surrounded by drooling men and miserable, resentful women every time your husband brings you to a work event. This poor freaking woman has done nothing but exist. This is one thing I think people out there who have a slight ick or disliking towards those who are more attracted to them and just live a more privileged lifestyle due to their beauty don't really realize. Being the hottest person in the room and stuff definitely has its benefits and has its perks. You'll easily get more sway with people in the room and things, but you'll also be expected upon others based on that physicality you have. Like, that's all you are to everyone around you. It doesn't matter what other accomplishments you've done. It doesn't matter any hard work you've put yourself through, any suffering you've experienced. None of that matters to them. None of it they'll acknowledge because you're hot. It doesn't matter what you went through. It doesn't count because you're hot. You got an easy route. So yeah, everyone's an a-hole. Definitely fits. Do you think it fits?
Yes, I agree now. At first I was like, what are we reading? But no, I agree. You all suck.
Yeah. Well, my delicious snackety doos, that is the end of today's Vidity Doos. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you'd like your time here today, then please support the channel. It means a lot to me. Yada, yada, yada. You know the drill. All that stupid jargon that people don't really care about listening. Let's be honest. Liking video, subscribing. If you genuinely want to do it, you would have done it by now. So, mwah, love you if you did. We're going to say goodbyes now. Emily, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. And we'll see you for the next one. To do.